Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ORL Online Racing League with me, George Morgan. I am joined by my partner in crime here at China with Maku. Maku, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Even though we're in China, the source of coronavirus. But yeah, I'm still fine. Got at least some things to do already today. But yeah, let's head into this race, into this qualifying in China.
We certainly will. We are now currently in the midst of, well, the tail end, the second half of the season. And Jana Watmir currently dominates. You guys will be able to see from the official standings. We've got there Jana Watmir, 146 points to his name. And he is well and truly clear from Speed Barry, who's unfortunately left the league. So the next concern is Simon Vigang, obviously showing P3 on our screens. He's got 57 points, and nearly 100 points separate him and Jana Watmir. Jana Watmir definitely has grabbed the actual championship by the scruff of its neck, and it looks like that the championship is all sewn up. But there is a battle for P2, isn't there, Maku, in this driver's standing?
Yeah, so right now we have the battle between Napadovsky and Sam Weiging for second place. But we also have to take a look at Hayes because he could participate in this battle too, as well as Infamous, who was like I think 2 races ago. Infamous was third, and not Simon Weiging. So yeah, all those four, and I think even maybe Sven Zerner can participate in this fight for second place. Sven Zerner wasn't attending last race, and he is today, so he's getting no points again. But yeah.
Well, we've seen a lot of James Baldwin as well. He was very, very unlucky. We're now going to move over to the track, so the drivers are beginning to start their fast laps, and we will bring the coverage to you now. I hope you're all keeping well as well. Obviously, the coronavirus has taken hold, but I hope you guys are all staying safe and staying indoors, out of trouble, should we say. And we're now about to watch a lot of the guys make their way around the circuit. It seems to me at the moment we're just waiting for the screens to recollect. There we go, and here comes Hayes bombing down the straight now. You can just see the Red Bull there going bombing down the straight. Turn one here, the sweeping right hand bend that you've got to take with extreme caution. Obviously try not to lose the car by any means. If you can, you tend to go down to about third to second, back up to third, sorry, and power out the corner. Some people go down to first, but personally that can leave you in trouble for spinning. As you can see, there's another right hand bend now. You want to take that with extreme care. You might notice a lot of these guys tend to stay off the curbs if they can, because they can obviously cause a few issues in terms of traction, and you want to try and avoid that as best as possible. He's got another sweeping right hander now. You can just see, then you'll soon be leading towards another double left, which you've again got to take. Very similar, like I said last week about that one at the USA, similar to the Mexican double right-hander really, that particular double left, as they make their way to the next left-right, and they've got a sweeping, almost like a spoonish curve type bend now, leading towards a long straight, and this is when the speed trap gets decided at the back end of the circuit. So these guys now will send their cars down the back straight before they complete their first fast laps. Maku, any thoughts, any strengths you'd imagine these drivers will be able to use in this Chinese Grand Prix? Any eye catches?
Yeah, so maybe as you can see, a lot of drivers are out there on hards, with just 2 guys on softs currently, and I think that's mostly strategy because I was a little bit looking and I was a little bit confused because most times in a 50% race you just go for a medium soft, but in China the soft wears like off does wear off that fast that you gotta take a medium hard for a 1-stop, or you try a 2-stop. I don't know if the guys will try for that, but as you can see, with a lot of people qualifying on mediums and hards, and the first times come in now.
Yeah, well, the difference in the time gaps isn't that much. I mean, obviously, you'd imagine 7/10 of a second between hards and mediums is probably about right. Simon Vigang now topping the billing at the moment with 13 minutes left to go with a 1:31.116. Simon Vigang, who for much of the season has had to contend with the likes of Jana Watmir and Speed Barry all season. Jana Watmir in P4, but he set his time on the hard tyres. He actually beat Photon's medium tyre time by no less than 0.2 of a second, pretty much. So he's finding incredible pace on those hards. And Alvaro Caraton, who has joined us for today's race here at China, he's only just joined the league. He sets a P4 time of 1:31.655, goes even faster than Jarno Opmeer, and that's by 2.5 tenths. So we're seeing some really, really popular numbers here for those on the hard tyres, Maku. Phenomenal.
Yeah, they're just at least Alvaro Carrera is just 5 tenths up of the medium time of Simon. So yeah, we'll see a lot of times they're going up there. I'm not sure if those guys will try another lap on the mediums, because of course they're the faster ones, and if you want to get the better position at the start of the race, then you're gonna try this, and we still have 12 minutes of qualifying left.
We certainly do. So Alvaro Carreton now up to P4 in this at the moment, and obviously looking further up, obviously Fabrizio Donoso, who is back in the hot seat today once again. He's in P2 at this moment in time. Good start from him. Obviously still a long way to go, folks. We're going to be seeing a lot more times in. VSR Flying Finn joining the field as well in the Toro Rosso. He's in P6 with a 1:32.176, showing a lot of pace as well, again on hard tyres. And Photon currently in P7. I'd imagine he'd be looking to set yet another lap time just to try and increase his prospects in this qualifying session. We're just over the 10-minute mark, just in the 11.5 minutes sector now, and we've just had another mix-up at the top. McLaren going strong with a top 3, with CRG Simon in first place and James Baldwin P3. James Baldwin actually looked incredibly strong last week. It wasn't until he had a puncture in the I think it was the last lap at USA that really scuppered his race, because he was improving, wasn't he, Maku?
Yeah, it was last lap, and I think it was in the last sector even, or in the second at least. And yeah, it was really, really, really unfortunate for him. Yeah.
Just couldn't get it done on the day. I mean, obviously, he's here now, and P3 is a very good place to be. Certainly, if you're James Baldwin, it's a good place to be for McLaren as well. A little bit of rain falling here at the Shanghai circuit, which obviously won't help going around that sweeping right-hander. In fact, a lot of these corners don't really akin themselves to wet weather. It's a very, very tricky circuit at the best of times, even in dry conditions. And in wet, I can only imagine it being that much trickier, and I can imagine these guys are going to want to set laps pretty quickly if they're to avoid any further torrential conditions. I can only imagine that the guys in the garage who've yet to set lap times are obviously expecting it not to rain much longer, as we now see Jarno Opmeer come across the line. He's now going to start yet another flying lap. Let's see what he can net on the hard tyres. We'll just quickly get the times in the corner there for you, folks. Obviously, we haven't got lap data there for you. As you now see Jarno Opmeer make his way around the sweeping right-hander. As you can see, he's been very cautious on this circuit. Maybe the wet weather's starting to cause a problem, I think, Maku. A lot of these drivers seem to be slowing down a bit.
Yeah, I think too. Looks like a full course. Oh no, that's because Jarno invalidated his lap. I don't know if a lot of guys did that, and that's the reason why they're slow. But of course, I think it looked from the beginning like it was going to rain. So yeah, now we have the rain, but it's still the weather for the slick tires, and not for the wet or intermediate tires. So they won't be faster than any times set yet, I think. But though they may need to try, and maybe it will stop raining, maybe it won't. Then we now have our standings.
Well, we're just seeing a lot of standing water on the track, as we've just seen Zones go around that corner then. He's on the mediums now and looking to improve on his P11. So now's the time if he's going to do it. Just looking further up, I've noticed there that Flying Finn and Hayes have both retired from the session. Obviously happy with the way things are set right now. Hayes, obviously, P4, he must think that this wet weather is not going to improve. Therefore, setting a lap that he has is Infamous is in P5, and Infamous, another one who got a DNF in USA, obviously looking to improve, and he actually led the grid at the start of the corner, actually going past Jarno Opmeer. I believe it was in the first lap at the United States circuit, at the Circuit of the Americas, should I say, as Kruzich retires as well. And he was very unfortunate because he looked in pole position to actually take the race, Maku.
Yeah, he had this very unfortunate incident with Calcifer, I think it was, and yeah, therefore DNF'd. And I think he was, even though he was back in the grid, but if Jarno did his boxing stop, Infamous would still come out in front of him, and yeah, I think he had a really, really, really good chance to win this race, but sometimes it just won't work.
Certainly will. We're now watching Fabrizio Donoso, who is really making a rapid return, a rapid certainly escapade in the world of F1 esports at the moment. We're starting to see him really come back into prominence now, and he's bombing his Mercedes around the final corner now here at the Chinese circuit, sorry, and he is in fact going into the pit lane. It looked like he was on course for a fast lap, but not this time, jumping into the pit lane. And so does Infamous as Alvaro Caraton comes across the line. He's in P6. No improvement just as yet for his lap time as things stand, but he has every chance to do it now as he enters the final couple of bends. He'll have the final corner dead ahead, and whether he'll choose to pit, I'm not sure. He's looking like he's on a mission. No, he does indeed pit. Maybe the wet weather is starting to take hold as Jan Fieler looks like he's coming in. Bernardo Perez coming round the next few bends to see what he can put out, because he's on fresh medium tyres. Let's see what this man could do in the Williams. Williams not having a bad season, and naturally I think it can only improve, seeing as they've got some real strong drivers here. Bernardo Perez, no slouch, Maku.
Bernardo Perez and Alvaro Corredo, who did a very good time on hards, I think was it, before, is now on mediums too, but still holds his best level on hards. Looking very strong, looking to pick up points. I mean, Williams is 4th in our Constructors' Championship, so way up the table than in real life. And they're not that far away from McLaren. But if we look at the form of McLaren today, then they look kind of not really in range.
No, it's a good opportunity for Williams today to pick up some solid points. Alvaro Caraton currently in the pits, and you have to imagine maybe these guys might set at least one more lap if you're really deadly serious of trying to attack the top 3, but it will be tricky given the conditions right now. A lot of standing water out there on track. You can just see Bernardo Perez finishing there. Jan Fieler has retired from the session as well. Just looking further down, Leonard Brownie coming into the pit lane. I'm not sure. Yes, he is coming in. Steve is out on track. He's going down the back straight. Yet to set a time, may I add. And he's down on medium tyres at this stage. Fabrizio Donoso retires in P2, so that is where he'll stay. Currently, Simon Vigang with the advantage after setting that lap at the dry part of this session, as we now see Steve about to come across the line now. What's he going to post in this qualifying session? This looks reasonably quick considering the conditions, and he comes across the line, and he in fact retires. Calcifer in the pits, he's not looking to set a lap, and it looks like CRG Common will not be setting a lap time either at this rate. If he wants to, he'll have to get out pretty sharpish. Be a good opportunity to at least get himself above P18 or into P18 should he go out on track. So it might be worth going out just for that, Maku.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but you're not sure. I mean, you could also just throw away your car, especially because if you're putting on intermediates now, you will be slower. There's no chance of getting faster. But on the slicks, it's very dangerous to go out. So yeah, it's very slippery. I think as all the drivers are doing now, they're not going for another lap because they know they can't be faster in that weather. And I think they're retiring, of course, because it will rain all qualifying long. So yeah, I think that should be it for qualifying.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. A very, very abrupt finish to the session. As you can see, Bernardo Perez has retired as well. Currently leaves 6 drivers on currently left in the session. No one else has gone out yet, though. The track is very quiet. The drivers obviously looking to see where the conditions are going, but it looks pretty conclusive to us. The rain is going to keep coming down, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens for the start of the Grand Prix. As you can see at the moment, good day for McLaren so far. P's 1 and 3, CRG Simon, James Baldwin getting out as soon as possible to make the most of the drier conditions and setting some very good laps. Fabrizio Donoso on the front row of the grid with his teammate Jarno Opmeer, probably a first this season so far, currently P7 on the grid here for the race. So it's not looking like Mercedes will be making up both spots on the front row, but this time it's going to be dominated by McLaren, which is quite almost a bit like a bit of a story, really, because as you guys might remember, back in the late 90s, McLaren and Mercedes obviously being engine partners, supplying the engines to McLaren. And now it's quite funny to see them do battle once again. I mean, obviously, Lewis Hamilton leaving McLaren to join Mercedes as well. And now we're going to be seeing an ORL tussle between that of McLaren and Mercedes once again. But could Williams enter the fray and add a bit of spice here. Alvaro Carreton here for his ORL debut, and P6 is not a bad place to be, especially on those hard tyres. Obviously, that could all change depending on conditions at the start of the race, Maku.
Yeah, of course, we don't know yet which weather. Oh, I hear an engine fire up, but we don't know which weather will win the race. And Jake just showed up in the chat and said, yeah, in the pits it said it's quite dry out there. And then as soon as he drove out, Jeff came on with his mic and just said, yeah, you've gonna have rain in 5 minutes. So I think most of the drivers were like, yeah, let's get out, get a quick lap, and then it's over.
Well, Calcifer's decided he's going to make a late burst there to. He'll have a chance of taking P18 at least. That's if Common doesn't come out, but we'll soon see what Calcifer does now as he makes his way around the track. Obviously, leaving it till the track is quite quiet. Naturally, the temperature of the circuit is going to be quite cool. No cars have been on it for a stretch of time. Obviously, the stretch of time appropriate enough here in Formula One. Certainly in this game, and we're just watching Calcifer now make his way around this almost sweeping left-hander. A lot of sweeping corners here at China, and as he does so, you can see the Red Bull car making its way around the double left-hander, and Alvaro Carreton has indeed retired as well. So currently leaves 5 drivers left in the session so far, as we now watch the Red Bull of Calcifer bombing his way down the next left-hander. And you'll have another right to take, so almost like a quick left-right almost, though you do have to take it with caution, because on the exit you have the sweeping right-handed curve as you'll be leading the way down to the straight now. And you can just see Calcifer there on the medium tyres, looking to try and get the most out of them. Obviously this is the outlap, of course, so he wants to make sure that the temperatures are up to speed, just so he is able to get his car to optimal temperature, both the brakes and the tyres as well, just so we can set an optimum lap time for the conditions we have here at the Shanghai Circuit. As we can now see Calcifer make his way around the final corner. You can see the straight dead ahead. The DRS detection zone fires up and he presses it and he's away down the straight. You can see the back end of the Red Bull opened up now, and that adds a bit of aerodynamic advantage down straights such as that as they make their way around the sweeping right-hander. You can see the Red Bull of Calcifer looking to get at least a P18 here, which he should get, seeing as Steve and Common have not set times. And obviously further up he still has an opportunity. He's on the mediums and there's plenty of guys out on hard tyres. Maybe the track isn't as slick as it once was, as we now see Calcifer make his way around the next right-hander, and he really is actually fighting tooth and nail to keep that car on the track, Maku.
Yeah, he really seems sliding sometimes on the exits of the curves, especially with these long corners. The first one, the snake, then you have the one before the straight. These are really difficult corners.
I would say that one, going back to that corner, the one he's on now, actually, believe it or not, probably one of the trickiest, because you've almost got a direct 90-degree left-hander, followed then by a very tricky sweeping right-hander, which it's very difficult to get the car aligned on the right racing line, especially after that very quick and snappy left-hander prior.
Yeah.
You almost need to react quick, don't you?
Yeah, and you need to turn like 207 degrees.
Yeah.
Because you're like facing nearly completely somewhere else at the start of this corner, and then you need to really hit the line exactly and really be at the exact speed to catch the corner in the exact right angle.
Well, coming across the line, and Calcifer does indeed take P18, so he gets at least the best of the bad bunch, I suppose, but obviously not his fault, obviously, given the fact that the wet temperatures have really come in and taken over. We're now going to have a look at the classifications. Simon Vigang, CRG Simon, P1. He starts on the grid, and joining him on the front row is Fabrizio Donoso for the Mercedes team. James Baldwin capping off an excellent day for McLaren in P3. Hayes in P4. P5 for VSR Infamous there for Renault, looking to bring back the form that he had from last week, obviously looking to finish on this occasion. Alvaro Carreton P6 on his debut. Gianno Otmia down to P7, unheard of territory for him. Jan Fieler P8. Bernardo Perez P9, a good performance there from the Williams driver. Flying Finn Beer with a P10. Photon P11. Triton Matthias in P12. Zones in P13. Brownie P14. Leonard's 15. Jake 16. Kruzich 17th. Didn't get to see the rest, but obviously there were 3 that didn't finish. That was Calcifer, Common, and I can't remember who the last one was, to be honest with you. My mind's gone blank. But the guys will very soon be making their way out on track to start the formation lap, folks. And that is when we'll really see the game starting to play, as we see now the drivers out on the track.
But you know what? I think it will be at least a dry start of the race because the guys were out on mediums or hards. They could have just gone for the softs if they knew it was a wet start, so they get new tires. But as they knew it would be, or I think they knew, you can look it up, it will be a normal start on dry conditions. They took their mediums and hards to get their strategy done.
Absolutely. I mean, there was no question. I mean, if you knew there was going to be wet conditions in the race, then you would not go for the softs, because it wouldn't matter, would it, if you use that soft tyre?
Yeah,
you could
exactly.
get away with it and get a fresh pair of wets to have on the grid. I mean, to be honest with you, even if you finish, if you finish outside the top 10, you can obviously not worry about tyre selection, because obviously you get to choose at the start of the race. But we'll just watch them now line up now on the grid, and they're all setting off on the formation lap here at this race here at China. And you can see there Simon Vigang leading them around the grid now, and looking to cap an excellent qualifying with a P1 finish, which I'm sure he'll be looking to get in his locker. I mean, I remember saying in the interviews with him that when I reeled off the remaining tracks we had this season at ORL, and I asked him if he liked anything in specific, and he said, no, I like them all, he said. So he's obviously looking to try and cap off his season with a series of victories here, which he could get because he's a very strong driver, Maku.
Yeah, of course, we're looking forward to that. And yeah, as you said, we'll see a lot of interesting battles between everyone on the first spots, especially the Mercedes and the McLaren sandwich. And yeah, let's see what they could pull out. And let's look what Jarno does from 7th, a little bit further back, but I think he will fight his way up. I mean, he has Infamous on his way. I think Infamous won't let him just pass after America.
No, I think there's going to be a bit of a dogfight battle there without question. Infamous is looking for revenge after the race that last weekend, and I'm sure he'll be looking to try and capitalise here today. Obviously, after that incident at United States, it did not help him whatsoever, and it relegated him out of the Grand Prix. But he's going to be looking for revenge here, and no doubt this will be the time and place to do it. As Simon Vigang leads them round the final corner now, and they'll be set in their grid positions now. You can see there the two McLarens occupying Ps 1 and 3. Fabrizio Donoso splitting the two with his silver arrows. In 4th place, Hayes with a great performance, I've got to say, in that qualifying session. Infamous there, P5. Alvaro Carreton on his debut, starting from P6. It'll be interesting to see what sort of start he gets, and as he fights off the advances of Jarno Opmeer. It's going to be a tasty encounter here, Maku, and I gotta say, I'm not sure about you, but I'm looking forward to it.
Of course, we are always looking forward to the races. Let's see what happens. We have Steve and Common a little bit further back, so let's wait for them to finish up the grid.
Yeah, they're just moving into their positions now. You just see them in the distance. The Ferrari.
Oh,
we've lost Common.
Oh no. Please rejoin.
Well, I think his car's disappeared, so I think he'd be hard pressed to, as the lights are about to go red, folks. Here we go. Ready for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. Simon Vigang gets away well, but so does Fabrizio Donoso. They're in partnership. Fabrizio Donoso with a switch on the outside, taking the outside of the spoon curve. And you see behind there the Red Bull of Hayes trying to fight off James Baldwin after moving into P3. As they made their way around the corner, James Baldwin back with the advantage there. Retakes P3. What a start there for James Baldwin. Infamous coming to join the party as well. Alvaro Carreton remaining in P6. Jarno Opmeer just tracking him. Only 2/10 behind. You can see there Jan Fieler moving into position there, snatching P7. He's going toe-to-toe with Jarno Opmeer. Maku, what a start.
What an incredible start. I think especially Hayes, he had a very good start, but then he couldn't just pass. He passed Baldwin nearly, but then, Baldwin just took his position back. Now he's again behind them, but yeah, I think you won't let him get away. So yeah, let's look. We're still battling behind with Foden, I think. Next to Flying Finn, or no, it was Tread Matches. Still battling around this last curve. nearly completing the first lap of the Grand Prix, and let's see who can get this done on the straight. I mean, you need a very good exit to compete against your rivals here, and they're going 3 wide. No,
Yeah,
they're
they're going
going
3 wide,
no.
certainly down the straight. You could see there, Triton
Whoa.
Mathias in P12, and they're all going 3. Oh, the Haas! Oh, that was a great bit of dodging. That was so close. Brownie very nearly causing damage there to a lot of cars that really would have caused the pile-up. You can see there, I think that actually might be Common's Red Bull there in P19. It is still on the grid, so if he can get back, he might be able to rejoin. As we now see him behind, Triton Mathias still in P12. Obviously, very lucky there to dodge the impending incident. But Photon there in P13 trying to dodge in there. But VSR Infamous snatching it off Hayes there. P4 is his number, and he grabs it. But Hayes is not going away. He's right in the gearbox of Infamous. But there's a huge gap at this moment in time between that of James Baldwin and Infamous. I can only imagine approximately a second or more separating them at this stage. We now look further down. Alvaro Caraton, 2 to 3 tenths behind Hayes right now. And Jarno Otmir, this is going to be a battle of the Titans here, because they're only a tenth apart. You can see there the Silver Arrows eyeing up the Williams there. Don't forget, Williams used Mercedes engines, or Mercedes parts for sure. But Mercedes, They treat everyone very equally, I can assure you of that. And Jarno Otmir is going to be no different with Alvaro Caraton as they make their way up through the next chicane. You can just see there the Williams just dead in front. And these two are going to be giving us a saucy battle here as they make their way down the straight. Can Jarno make the most of the slipstream here? He's on those hard tyres. Infamous and Hayes once again going toe-to-toe here. You can just see them both. Unfortunately, we can't get a good camera angle there because they're all in pretty much cockpit view as we make our way down towards the straight. And by the looks of it, Infamous has got the advantage now. It looks like the telemetry's having a bit of a mare right now as they make their way towards the final corner now. And it's lap 2 going into lap 3, folks. Very, very early on. And we've already had a lot of drama as the DRS is about to activate. Fabrizio Donoso setting the fastest lap so far with a 1:34.729. Maku, it's very much all to play for.
Yeah, it's very much. But yeah, I think this position will be very interesting because Hayes doesn't look that fast, unfortunately, of course, because Alvaro Caraton and Jarno Otmir are sticking to his back and they won't go away until they pass him. So yeah, he's got a lot of pressure now after Infamous already passed him. Of course, I think Infamous will be looking for James Baldwin and Donoso and Simon, of course, to fight up his places on the podium.
Yeah, well, 3 tenths currently separating James Baldwin and Fabrizio Donoso. We got a real intense battle here between those drivers at the top end. You've got Simon Vigang and Fabrizio Donoso. James Baldwin currently making up the top 3. You've got the 2 McLarens with a Mercedes stuck in between right now, and this could remain for quite some time unless the DRS has anything to say about it. Fabrizio Donoso needs to get in as close as he can to Simon Vigang to make the most of the DRS that should be available now as he makes his way down the straight. You see Simon Vigang in the distance there trying to jump out of the slipstream, and you can see James Baldwin as well right on his tail fin right now, heading down towards the last chicane before the last corner, going into lap 4. And we've already got some moves going on down the grid because Jarno Otmir has just been poached by Jan Fiehler, and the Alfa Romeo driver has now jumped into P7. He's on flinging form right now, as you can see behind him. Jarno Otmir currently in P8, looking to get revenge on that Alfa, but bear in mind, Bernardo Perez has come into the fray as well. He is right behind Jarno Otmir, looking to do some damage as he makes his way around the first corner of lap 4. Maku, gotta say, a lot of the guys now starting to rise to the occasion here at China.
Yeah, and a lot of guys we maybe didn't even expect that much. I mean, Jan Fiehler now in front of Jarno. He's giving him a hard battle, but I mean, of course, Jan is on the medium tires, Jarno on the hards. So Jan, yeah, well, is of course now a little bit faster, and has therefore maybe a little bit better exit out of corner 13, the crucial one before the straight. So yeah, let's see if he can maybe pull away a little bit, because he needs to, if he wants to stay with Jarno on the hard tires later on.
Absolutely, we're just seeing Jan Fiehler now, second back from Alvaro Caraton, so he's got a bit of work to do. Alvaro Caraton managing to stay within half a second to Hayes right now, the Red Bull just ahead of him. And I've got to say, this is a very impressive debut from Alvaro Caraton. Naturally, a very different league here at ORL, lots of talent, but the grid, it can very much fling a lot of surprises at you as well. And like we've said, we haven't seen a lot from a lot of the drivers here today, but naturally, with the way the league's going, it's got the ability of really throwing up a few surprises. You just see there Alvaro Caraton locking up the front right, and as he made his way down towards the final hairpin, and he wasn't alone. Hayes actually did the same, as now they make their way down towards the commence lap, what it'll be, lap 5 of 28. CRG Simon Vigang still 3/10 above Fabrizio Donoso, and it's getting closer and closer. Donoso has not lost him yet, and he's right in the back end of Simon. Simon doing well to maintain his gap there in P1. And James Baldwin just clocking him, just riding on board, just really, really coasting the car around the Chinese circuit, waiting for the opportune moment to make that crucial overtake. You've got to wonder, some team orders happening here, Maku?
Yeah, maybe. Of course, there's a chance that this happens, but I think maybe they're also just tactical. We've lap 5, we've still got like 23 laps left. And pushing right to the edge in the first laps isn't maybe the best thing. Let's wait a few laps. Maybe they're making some mistakes. I mean, they're pulling away from the fourth from Infamous, so they have their time. They need to be careful. And I mean, if there's a chance for an overtake, they of course will take it.
They certainly will, and this is the place to do it. As you can see, they're going to be making their way down to the long straight. And this is where a lot of the overtakes happen here at China, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few today. And a lot of these drivers now are within a second, so there's going to be no question that the DRS is going to be active for a lot of these guys. They make their way down towards the hairpin bend now. Donoso right on the tail fin, right in the gearbox of Simon Vigang right now, and Simon is very conscious of that fact. James Baldwin waiting for the opportune moment to strike as they make their way through the last corner and over to start lap 6 of 28. You can just see the gap there. 2 seconds separating Infamous and James Baldwin now, so they are finding still a gap between P3 and 4. So James Baldwin doing well to separate himself from that P4 balance. As you can just see him behind as well, Hayes in P5 still clocking Infamous and having a very respectable race. He's only half a second ahead of Alvaro Caraton, but he's only 4/10 behind Infamous, so he's doing extremely well to stay on tread with that Renault car right now. Infamous coming off an impressive start at the USA, and we expect him to be quick, to be fair, and he's shown it right through the season. He was in P3, certainly was in P3 and 4 throughout the Drivers' Championship from the start of the season, staying in close contention with Speed Barry and Jarno Opmeer all season, as well as Simon Vigang and many others on track. It really is all to play for the remaining places in the Drivers' Championship, Maku.
Yeah, with so basically, except for like Jarno, I think beating him will be, you need to win every race, but Jarno needs to crash. That would be like the only possibility to still win the championship. But yeah, you can really fight for every other place, for every place since second. There's still a little gap for all of the drivers. They're really close together, and yeah, I mean, Simon has 57 points. That's not even that far away from like somebody who has only 20 points. There's still any chance that anyone can get up a few more places.
Well, the front three are now starting to really pull away. 2.5 seconds now becoming the gap between Infamous and James Baldwin, so they're making the most of those medium tyres. Infamous there, currently in P4. He's also on mediums, but he's got Hayes right in his gearbox, and I think he's more conscious of defending against the Red Bull rather than trying to close the gap with the McLaren ahead of him, as we now see them make their way around the first corners of Alvaro Caraton, getting really, really close to the back end of Hayes right now, and I've got to say, he must be eyeing him up for an overtake anytime now. Jan Fieler coming into contention as well, currently in P7, but nearly 5/10 behind the Williams right now, so he's got every chance of making a change here as they make their way around the next part of the circuit. You see that left-hander, and they've got another tricky right to take before they reach the double left. And you can see there the Williams just clocking every move that Hayes makes as they make their way around the double left now. You can see just behind Jarno Opmeer waiting to pounce as well on Jan Fieler. I get the impression that Jarno, obviously with hard tyres on 7/10, the difference a lot of the time in the time gaps between the tyre compounds, maybe just waiting to strike, maybe strategy to allow him to go up the field, because he is technically on the optimal tyre at this early stage in this Grand Prix, Maku.
Yeah, if you say so. I mean, there's always, you've always the chance with the reverse strategies to win something, but maybe the normal one fits too. Depends on how you're treating your tires, and I mean, how you're treating your tires is always connected with how much of your laps you actually push. And I think Jarno is just at the moment like managing tires. Of course, he wants to gain places and do not wants to fall back, but he's not completely pushing.
No, he's not just yet, I don't think, and he's certainly showing to be in pretty good fine fettle as it stands. Jarno Opmeer making his way around the sweeping right-hander at the start of the lap. Lap 8 of 28 we are in right now. Fabrizio Donoso still on the back of Simon Vigang, and that gap between the front three is actually still starting to raise. It is now 2.8 seconds separating James Baldwin and VSR Infamous right now, and it looks like they're starting to pull away, so it's very much those front three at this stage. Looking further back, Hayes currently just over 4/10 away from Infamous. We've got to move down the bottom there because Leonard has overtaken Steve. I think Steve's had a bit of a problem there because he's just sped up on the track. Whether he had a little bit of a loss of traction going around that right-handed bend, I'm not sure, Maku.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, of course. I mean, hards are like not the best choice in grip. So yeah, maybe you're just too early on the accelerators, and then yeah, that's it. Not for the race, but of course you lose a lot of time. Oh.
Well, Fabrizio Donoso getting well and truly once again back in the back of the McLaren there. He's getting closer and closer. He's now within 3/10 of the McLaren as they make their way onto the home stretch now, and Donoso is definitely eyeing him up for an overtake, and you can see the DRS is open now. Fabrizio Donoso down the inside tries to make a move on Simon Vigang. What a move! Takes P1 round the first corner. The silver arrows hit the target and he nails P1. Simon Vigang down in P2. The McLarens are chasing Maku.
Yeah, both in 2-3, maybe there's some team orders possible for the faster one to pass, but I think as it's now, they shouldn't be like. I think Simon is not really much faster, but a little bit than James. So basically, Simon will just drag James behind him. But of course, I think as soon as James notices that he's faster, they will switch, and I think teammates should always be fine with that. But of course, as it's for the win, there maybe you can get a little bit of trouble with your own you want to win situation.
We certainly do. Well, James Baldwin, the world's fastest gamer, he'll now have no problem with pace, certainly at a track like Shanghai as he makes his way around the next right-hander. He has got Simon Vigang right ahead of him there, obviously making use of the slipstream where possible. Fabrizio Donoso is now going to hold off the advances of two McLarens right now, Simon Vigang in P2, and this is when we could see it come into effect. The DRS becomes open, and Simon still a considerable gap away, 4/10 separating him and Donoso as things stand. They're coming down towards the hairpin bend now.
And Hayes is going again onto Infamous.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done it. Yeah, I think he's done it as well. Hayes has actually made the move and pulled it off. And here comes Alvaro Caraton on the outside trying to make the most of it as we see them dive into the pit lane. And you can see there, Jan Fieler moving up to P5. Hayes managing to get ahead just before he pitted and has given himself an advantage. And Fabrizio Donoso, I didn't realise, has also gone in as well. So we've seen already some movements made on the strategy front. Simon Vigang retakes the lead. James Baldwin, P2. The two McLarens still remaining out on track. Alvaro Caraton now in P3 with Jan Fieler all over the back end of the Williams now and looking to close in on that Williams car. As you can see, Jarno Opmeer in P5. The hard tyre drivers can stay out, obviously, get more wear out on those tyres without a shadow of a doubt, as they are the more prudent tyre or compound, should I say, for the length of time as they see the silver arrows now making its way around the next left-hander. Donoso now in the pits, Jarno Opmeer in P5. Mercedes looking in good shape right now as we now see the other Williams driver, Bernardo Perez, having a good race, Maku. I've got to say, he's been in and out all season, but he's really starting to come into form.
Yeah, he's really showing his size, and I think we've seen him lately a lot up the grid, and yeah, we've seen a lot involved in front fights, and I think it's a great thing for him. He's getting good points, and maybe he has also a chance of some more places. If you take a look at the championship, he's just 1 point away from Foden, and Foden is currently in 10th, so he'll gain a lot of points more than him, for example, in this race at least. And yeah, maybe we'll see something interesting there for as the season goes to its end.
Certainly will, and James Baldwin incidentally is now taken P1. CRG Simon now bombing into the pit lane, and he's not going alone because Jan Fieler's going in, and so is Bernardo Perez. So those three going into the pit lane. Alvaro Caraton moves into P2. James Baldwin now, like I said, P1. Jana Watmir moves into P3. So it's very much, it tells its own story currently at the top end of the grid. As you look further down, you've got Flying Finn moving into P4. Zones in close proximity. He's not out of the running. He is there. Remember, Zones pulled off that excellent drive in Canada that I got to say was very exciting to watch. And he's back again in the top flight, currently in P5 right now in the Haas. And Triton Mathias in close proximity as well, only 3/10 separating those two, with Photon, who we've seen shades of improvement from this season. Last year's champion has now come in with his car, the Prancing Horse, the Ferrari, and looking to do battle with these guys in Ps 5 and 6. So this is a great chance for Photon to grab the scruff of the neck and try and move up the grid. Though all those drivers on hard tyres, as you would expect, as not many of them have pitted yet. We've only seen the medium compounds pitted at this stage. But it certainly is all to play for, a test of strategy without question. As we look further down, the intervals are really starting to come into play now. Fabrizio Donoso currently 4/10, 5/10 should I say, behind Calcifer, and looking to try and make that overtake. He's actually opted for the hards to take him to the end. Obviously starting on the medium tyre, you've got to use 2 different compounds in F1 racing. A lot of you will already know that as they make their way around that sweeping right-hander onto the straight, and Calcifer now in the slipstream of, Fabrizio Donoso is in his slipstream, should I say. They both open up the DRS, heading down the straight. We can see a move being made now as Brownie moves past Jake and takes the hairpin there in front of the Renault. The Haas team moving up yet again. And him and Zones looking in good shape right now. Brownie obviously recovering after that little instant earlier on in the race where he came off the track and luckily enough avoided contact with everyone else. James Baldwin has indeed gone into the pits. The 2 Ferraris now in tandem up to Ps 6 and 7. Leonard moving up a place as well as Brownie, and Fabrizio Donoso P11. Currently you consider the net lead of the Grand Prix, considering that he finished in P1 before going into the pit lane, and we'll soon see whether he can retain it, but he's got to get through this traffic, Maku.
Yeah, of course, and as we speak now, we've all of the drivers out there on track, all out on hards, so they've pretty equal conditions with their tires. I mean, like, some of them are already 10 laps old, but still, I think the hard tire doesn't lose that much grip in comparison to what he has at the beginning and after 10 laps. But we just see that Fabrizio Donoso and James Baldwin are just pulling their way through the field as James passed Calcifer. Oh, and Sergey Simon needed to avoid a little bit Calcifer there, and now has a little bit of big gap.
Yeah, it's fallen back by nearly a second. He's now just under 9/10. So you can see now, we can see Donoso there making a move on the straight here on Jake, who's currently in P10. This will allow Donoso to move up yet another place as they head on down towards the hairpin bend. It looks like he's got it. The Silver Arrows and the Mercedes striking yet again and moving up to P10. James Baldwin looking to also make a move on the tail end of that Renault, looking for a way around. He wants to stay as close as possible to Donoso and not lose any time. Try and maintain the slipstream with the Mercedes rather than stay where he is. You can see James Baldwin there trying to stay behind that Renault. Naturally, Jake with the slipstream on the Silver Arrows managing to retain his P11, but it looks like James Baldwin might have got the better line going in on the first corner. Jake trying to shut the door, but it's not happening. They're going around the next left bend, and you can see the McLaren going toe to toe with the Renault, but the Renault says no, he's not having it, but he does it, and James Baldwin moves up to P11 and back in proximity, but Fabrizio Donoso has already taken over the Haas and Brownie, Maku.
Yeah, and Simon has now finally got Calcifer, and is now directly behind Jake. Well, he has a little bit of a gap, but yeah, I think he needs to get a little bit time back, and because he's fallen back a little bit as James Baldwin is now taking already Brownie. So there are 2 cars between the 2 McLarens who used to be together.
Well, I've got to say, they're taking the bull by the horn, certainly. You can just see the sheer raw pace of these guys around this circuit. You can see why they are the best at what they do. As you now see James Baldwin make his way around the sweeping right-hander. Fabrizio Donoso is the only car ahead of him now, and they have got a trench of cars ahead of them. that they've got to overtake. So you can see Donoso now trying to move up on Leonard. As we can see, he's got the DRS, but Leonard hasn't. And they come down towards the hairpin bend. And Fabrizio Donoso has got the advantage, but is still going wide to each other, going round the final bend. And you can see that the Mercedes with the advantage swoops past. And the Racing Point has dived into the pit lane, so James Baldwin can make that overtake. And the classifications are beginning to come together as Fabrizio Donoso set to fastest lap on hard tyres, a 1:34 no less. And Simon has formed up behind his teammate. It's starting to look like a similar reflection we had before the pit stop took place, Maku.
But they're already heading for the mediums. They have still 14 laps left, and I think the mediums are completely done after like 17 laps. That's at least what the game says. So yeah, that's quite a close call. I mean, the other guys went in lap 8 or 10, or I think lap 9 was it when the first one got in.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
10 was then James or Simon, and then in 11 the other one. I think first Simon, then James. So yeah, quite of an early pit stop, I think.
Is there a chance, Maku? That we could see some of the drivers that started on the hard compound, certainly at the top end of the field, go for the soft tyre?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. Even though the soft tire is really struggling on this track, like there's just this. It's the game says it holds 8 laps, so they need to push at least to lap like 20, 21, to even try to put on the tire. But it's possible on the hards.
Yeah, I'd imagine it is. I mean, I'm just wondering whether that's what Jarno Opmeer, Flying Finn and Alvaro Carretón are doing, though as I say that, Jarno Opmeer has indeed come in the pits and he has switched to the medium tyre. So let's see what happens, because Fabrizio Donoso is just coming across the line now with James Baldwin and Simon Vigang. Now here comes Jarno Opmeer out of the pit lane, and Jan Fieler's already gone ahead. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Infamous. He's actually stuck behind the 2 Red Bulls, so Jarno Opmeer currently out in what should be a net P8 as things stand. So you can see now the Mercedes all over the back end of Calcifer, and he's going to try and make an overtake here on Calcifer on the outset. And can he get it done now as they make their way around towards the next right-hander? He does indeed, and the Silver Arrow is showing why he is the current leader of the World Championship right now. Moves up into P10, so he's back in the points straight off the bat, as we've never seen that Zones has left the session, Maku.
Oh no! Oh, and I think he retired. I think he had some problems. I don't know. Yeah, he lies in the snake section. He just disappeared in the snake section. I don't know. There was an incident, I think. I didn't saw that.
Really strange.
But the little point was just not moving in the snake section and then disappeared. So yeah,
maybe
that's probably it.
Some damage suffered then potentially to Zones. We don't know what the full story is behind that, folks, but if we do, we will bring in the news on that, as Infamous now makes his way down the straight. The gap between James Baldwin and Donoso is really tight, so you can see Donoso all the way in the back of Donoso's Silver Arrows as they exited the hairpin there, and they've got every chance to. James Baldwin is looking quick, Maku, right now. He's looking like he's made this race potentially his own here as they make their way down the straight, and he's going to have DRS going down towards the first corner. Alvaro Carretón has now pitted, and no doubt looking for those medium tyres as Fabrizio Donoso now goes into P1, so the grid very much reforming into the way it was before the pit stops occurred. As you can see, Alvaro Carretón back into P5 and still ahead of Jarno Opmeer as Jarno Opmeer makes a move on Infamous and gets it done, moves into P6, and now he's chasing Alvaro Carretón for his P5 position. It truly is a battle of the best at the moment as they make their way around the next right-hander. You can see the Mercedes eyeing up the Williams once again, and Maku, it's very much a clash of the titans without question.
Yeah, I think Jarno overtake like 4 people. I mean, 2 of them were in the pits, of course, but one on the long straight and one on the start and finish straight, of course. And then Alvaro comes out of the pit right in front of him, so he has like a real opponent like right now. And yeah, at the moment he seems to be really pushing. Was on the hot lap mode on the straights already, so yeah, I think his next goal will be to catch Alvaro. And therefore he'll turn his DRS up.
Well, just looking now, James Baldwin bombing down the straight, and he's got DRS on Fabrizio Donoso, and could he make a move here at the death? And he goes alongside, and he takes Donoso just before the hairpin, takes the inside line, tries to defend the position, and James Baldwin moves into P1 and bats cuts off the advances of the Silver Arrows on the repeat after the hairpin, and now Donoso is going to have DRS on James Baldwin. Let's make a move here on the inside, he says, as they come up past the line and head into turn 1. The Silver Arrows bats back and retakes that position. He's back in front, and the McLaren and Mercedes doing battle like we predicted before the start of this Grand Prix, Maku.
Oh, I think, did Simon touch? I think it was just a slight touch, so his front wing should be okay. But they're really close, like nearly butt drafting. So yeah, she should not do that in the F1 car.
No, absolutely not. Obviously very susceptible to damage as Flying Finn moves past Infamous. Infamous, I think, must be struggling on that compounded tyre. The medium's definitely looking the more advanced. I mean, naturally, they are a quicker compound. And it looks like Flying Finn making the most of that, moving up to P7, having a good race here today in the Toro Rosso. And of course, Toro Rosso, unfortunately, a little one-legged today, as Common was unable to join the session at the start of the Grand Prix. And you can just see behind there Alvaro Caraton eyeing up Jan Fieler as they make their way onto the quick left-right before the long straight. And behind Alvaro Caraton is Jarno Otmir. He's only 3/10. We're going to be seeing lots of switcheroos in this grid formation, almost like a complete DRS train going down the straight, as you can now see. Alvaro Caraton eyeing up Jan Fieler. Jan Fieler trying to move into the centre of the track to try and defend, but as you can see, Alvaro Caraton bombing down the inside, and he swipes it and takes it. You can see Jan Fieler looking to defend against Jarno Otmir, and they're going toe-to-toe on the outset, and the Mercedes bursts in on the outside and takes P5, and Jan Fieler has a bit of a nightmare at the office. A double overtake completed. Alvaro Caraton and Jarno Otmir moving up a spot.
Yeah, that was just pure driving. They were all in the same ERS mode, so basically the cars were completely equal. It was just everything, the DRS and the exit out of corner 13, which made the difference here.
Well, we also missed James Baldwin taking P1 off Fabrizio Donoso. He failed to actually keep P1 going into the home straight, which is kind of expected, certainly considering the fact that P1 will not have DRS. So it very much is a battle to the depths. I mean, considering the fact that all these guys are in very close proximity of each other, and whoever's in P1 has got a stiff battle on their hands to keep P2 or even P3 in some cases. As we just saw, double overtakes can happen at a circuit like China. If you get in the slipstream and get a good run out of a corner, it can make all the difference. As we now see James Baldwin making his way up towards the next left-right, are we once again going to be seeing yet more overtaking going on the long straight? You can just see Alvaro Caraton just coming into the play there, and he very nearly touched the back of Simon Vigang there, and that could have been costly for his front wing, as we now see Alvaro Caraton right in the depths here with Simon Vigang, and he's got the slipstream, and here comes Alvaro Caraton on the inside in the Williams, and the Williams of Caraton moves into P3, and Williams once again looking to have a great day here and back from the depths and try and move their constructors' hopes further up the classifications. What a showing there from Alvaro Caraton, Maku.
Yeah, for sure, something that Williams will make Williams proud with. But yeah, now the McLarens are a little bit split up. Simon is not showing them that much pace on his mediums. Maybe, of course, he's just sparing his tires. Well, he also has the hards, but James Baldwin and Fabrizio Donoso also drive on the hard tires. Only Alvaro Caraton has his medium tires, and maybe that's a little advantage later on in the race. Because coming then to the last laps, he maybe then has the better traction.
Yeah, well, Jarno Otmir has just taken over Simon Vigang. Simon, unfortunately, not seemed to be finding the pace whatsoever. Like you were saying, Maku, he certainly seems to be struggling against these medium compound tyres that the other drivers are grabbing at the moment. Jarno Otmir now moving up to P4. We have got what was a double McLaren in the top lot. There's now seeing the two Mercedes starting to march through now, and Fabrizio Donoso is in P2, Jarno Otmir in P4. It truly is a battle of the best here. These esports drivers really showing us what they've got, as Alvaro Caraton is now eyeing up Fabrizio Donoso as they make their way down the straight now. He is right behind the Mercedes as they come up towards the hairpin bend, and it's Williams and Mercedes going toe to toe, going down towards the straight, and you can see the McLaren and James Baldwin holding his own in P1, and Caraton does it. He does it. The Williams moves into P2. What a phenomenal scene here at Shanghai, and the two Mercedes are in tandem in P3 and 4. It's not over by any means necessary. You see Donoso still eyeing up Caraton, still eyeing him up. This is not over, he says. It's not over. They're coming around the first corner. James Baldwin still maintaining P1. It's music to his ears, seeing that Alvaro Caraton and Fabrizio Donoso are scrapping over P2 because he can just try and focus on building a gap between him and Caraton right now. But Caraton is like a man possessed, and he's making a move on the inside for the lead of the Grand Prix, and he goes in and he takes it, making the most of the medium tyres. The Williams is on P1. What a display from Alvaro Caraton to take P1. Phenomenal scenes here at China, Maku.
He's really giving it everything, and it's really fantastic. And I think his tires will pay out in the end. The only one who I think really can challenge him is Jarno, as soon as he gets past Fabrizio. But I think even without a stall order, he should be able to do this, because like he's on a way better tire than Fabrizio Donoso, and I mean, like, if you're way faster than your team colleague, should let you pass without real fighting, because there's always the danger of something happening. But of course, those guys are betting for podium places. So Fabrizio is still defending.
He's defending. Jarno's not having any of it, though. He dives in on the inside, a late dive there. What a switcheroo! And he takes James Baldwin. James Baldwin was collateral in all that. And here comes Jarno Watmere. They're going 3 wide into the last corner. And Jarno Watmere takes P2. What a move there by Jarno Watmere to move his Mercedes into P2. James Baldwin, who became collateral damage on the outset. And here comes Flying Finn in from the depths. The Finn flies into P4. But can he hold off Donoso as they make their way towards the next left-hander on the outset of that sweeping right? And he does. The Raging Bull takes P4, and he's now in the midst of trying to battle against James Baldwin, the world's fastest gamer. Only 2 tenths separate those two, Maku. Phenomenal racing we're seeing here today.
Phenomenal overtakes, double overtakes, like going 3 wide. I think China's a very good track for overtaking. You can go through like every corner at least 2 wide. Without really struggling, especially the snake section is always a lot of fun for overtakes. But yeah, take a look at how far Alvaro Carrero got away from Jarno. I mean, Jarno, I think, will close up to him somehow soon. But yeah, he still has now 1.6 seconds gap to him. And yeah, Jarno doesn't have DRS at the moment, and he seems to be pulling away.
He certainly does. I don't know whether he's eaten his Weetabix or something this morning, Maku, but he's moved ahead into P1. He's separated by 1.7 seconds from Jarno Watmere, and Jarno must focus now on tapping into the raw power. As you can see, the Flying Finn diving in on the inside of James Baldwin, and the Raging Bull moves up a place again. The medium compounder tyre coming into effect in the last 7 laps here of this Grand Prix, and we're starting to see it really come into fruition now. It's a Williams P1, Mercedes P2, Toro Rosso P3. It is all happening here, Maku. Lap 22 of 28. Only 6 laps to go before we find out who wins this Grand Prix. Just to ask Maku, have we had any time penalties in the top 6 at all?
Well, would need to take a look at that.
I could just envisage as we've lost Steve. In fact, Steve is in fact retired. I'm guessing there's an incident because he's just dipped out of the race. So I got a feeling there was an incident involving the Ferrari there. Ferrari having a bit of a sorry day, unfortunately. They're out of the points as we speak. Photon, though, challenging Bernardo Perez for P10. So he's not out of the woods yet, but we're looking now. Flying Finn moving up to P3. What a display this man has made, certainly in the last reaches of this Chinese Grand Prix. He is now within 6 tenths of Jarno Watmere and trying to really push him, the Silver Arrows, for that P2 position. Could we see yet more drama in Shanghai here tonight? I've got to say, it's been absolutely unreal. But like you say, Maku, Alvaro Caraton is stretching his lead even more and more. We are now in the 1.8 second mark, and Jarno Watmere has now got a different challenge on his hands because the Flying Finn is flying up towards him right now. 7 tenths separating him, and James Baldwin not far away either. Only 7 tenths behind the Flying Finn right now. Very much could see him come back into the fray. You can see Fabrizio Donoso behind James Baldwin as well, 7 tenths separating him. So only a matter of mere seconds separating grid numbers 1, 2, P6, and Jan Fieler, who is now looking to make a move, I think, there on CRG Simon, but he went a little bit wide. But Jan Fieler having a great race as well, really starting to mix it up here with these drivers. You can see Simon Vigang just trying to keep this Alfa Romeo at bay, and it is all happening up front here. You can just see the Flying Finn now getting within half a second of Jarno Opmeer, and these guys really giving us a stiff battle here. Fabrizio Donoso currently in P5, also trying to catch up with James Baldwin, and we are in a mere 5 laps remaining in this Shanghai circuit to really question who's going to take P1. I don't know who it's going to be. Answers on a postcard, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't call this one. I hope you guys can. Please comment in the chat window who you think is going to win this Chinese Grand Prix, because currently it looks like Alvaro Caraton is trying to run away with it, Maku.
Yeah, could be, of course, yeah, but you have to bear in mind that, you know, we know Jarno is very fast. I think maybe if Alvaro is just pushing a little bit too hard with his tires, who will then have the disadvantage. But of course, there's also the possibility that Alvaro is just a faster driver than Jarno and all of the rest of the field. And yeah, he can pull now away and he stays away. But yeah, of course, the battle will be a little bit more interesting for us viewers.
Certainly will, and I got to say, we have not been short of tussles here. I mean, what an overtake! I think that probably goes as overtake of the night. I think that Jarno Opmeer move going into the final corner. I don't know where he found it, but that was absolutely unreal. And now he's in P2. In P3, of course, Flying Finn, as we said, half a second separating him and Jarno Opmeer now, so he's made 2/10 on the Silver Arrows already. So definitely showing some pace there. And Jarno's got to be very wary of him as they make their way around the first corner. And on the outset into the second, into the left, sweeping left-hander. And you can see there James Baldwin now, the time gap's beginning to come into fruition now. The gap between P3 and 4, 1.7 seconds. And Fabrizio right behind James Baldwin right now in P5. It looks like we're going to see a two-group battle between the top 3 and the 3 following. And don't forget Jan Fiedler as well, because he's very much in the midst. And Simon and Jan definitely going to give us something to cheer about, certainly leading in towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix. We've only got 4 laps remaining, folks. I've got to say, this could feel like the quickest 4 laps of your life, because it certainly has been for me. I cannot believe we're already in lap 24 or 28, but the sheer excitement that we've seen in tonight's race has been nothing short of exquisite, as we can now see Jarno Opmeer now with the advances of Flying Finn, who is definitely on his tail right now. And because Jarno is out of the DRS zone of Alvaro Caraton, it's going to make it very difficult for him to keep Flying Finn at bay, because Flying Finn on his medium tyres getting every ounce of pace out of those tyres, and he's getting ever closer to that P2 position, Maku.
Of course you will, and I mean, with 2.3 seconds, it's just unbelievable. And I think even if his tires now giving a little bit up, then you know he still will be in front, because Jarno really would need to catch up 2 seconds, and as he's looking now, he's not able to do that. He doesn't even have DRS. Oh, we've now seen Jan Fiedler fighting against Simon, even though they have the same tires. Now they get a little fight. Simon gets out of it first, out of the snake section. Always a beautiful little thing where you can also defend very well. But yeah.
There certainly is an art to certainly driving an F1 car, not a lot more than just overtaking, but defending is also an art as well. And if you've got both, it can make you a very formidable driver. And certainly a lot of these guys, well, every one of these guys has the ability to do just that, as we now witness Simon Wiegand going around in P6 right now, a gap of 7.5 tenths separating him and Jan Fiedler right now. Though that gap has increased slightly. Jan Fiedler, after making that what looked to be a very, very justifiable move to try and take that P6, and Simon did extremely well just to shut the door and keep the Alfa Romeo at bay, at least for the time being. We are in lap 25 of 28, folks, and I've got to say, time is whittling down here as Flying Finn, currently 6/10 behind Jarno Opmeer, still hasn't managed to close the gap as quickly as he might have liked. And if he wants to get P2, he's going to have to get cracking. But at this stage, he is 2 seconds clear of James Baldwin. He's out of the DRS stream of the McLaren. So therefore, he can just now focus on Jarno Opmeer, Maku.
Yeah, and Foden just took a look down at Hayes down the straight with a little bit of DRS help. Yeah, he got this overtake clearly well done. And with Foden now in 9th, getting 1 point more than in 10th. But yes, still both are in points. Maybe Bernardo is trying to show up to this fight too, because, you know, 10th place 1 point more than no points.
Well, I've got to say, you want to battle for every point you can get, as we now see Flying Finn very much again on the back of Jarno Opmeer. He is closing the gap slowly but surely, And Jarno Opmeer currently on those medium tyres has now seen that gap stretched to 2.8 seconds now. And it looks like Alvaro Carreton, bar any mistake, has every chance of sealing the deal here at China. And it'll be very interesting to see if he can do just that. We're in lap 26 of 28, and they're just about to take the next left-right before the main straight. And you can see now that Jarno Opmeer has very much brought his attention to the imposing Flying Finn, who is literally just a matter of 0.6 away from that silver arrow still, and that time gap is being retained right through. And you can see Fabrizio Donoso coming back into play as well. Will he make a move on James Baldwin going down the straight? It still remains to be seen, as we now see, but the Flying Finn getting within the 0.4 mark, 0.3 now, 0.2 now as they come down towards the hairpin bend. So tight to the back end of that Mercedes. The silver arrows being absolutely tronched upon by this Toro Rosso. And I got to say, credit to Flying Finn for coming here, and he's certainly given us a good showing as he bombs down the straight now. He'll have DRS once again as they make their way towards turn 1. Will he make that move going into the first corner? I don't think so just yet. Jarno Opmeer doing well to just deny him as I think they just touched a little there, Maku, because Jarno did lose a bit of shape going around turn 1.
Yeah, could be. I was just concentrating on James Baldwin and Fabrizio Donoso. Because those two were battling too. Around the snake jack section. So yeah, they had a switch up. Fabrizio took the lead out of the second last corner, but then yeah, on the straight, James could just take his position back there.
Yeah, well, just looking now, Flying Finn is now 0.3 behind Jarno Opmeer. They're getting closer and closer. You can just see there the trailing car of Comon still out on track, albeit ghosted right now. And you can now see, I'd imagine Jarno Opmeer, I'm imagining if he can, he'll try and use it on the straight as a method of DRS as they make their way around the next left-right, leading into the straight now. And you can see there the Flying Finn coming into the fray. He is not out of the woods. He's still got 2 laps to try and nick P2, and this is the battle that we want to see, because the Flying Finn has done extremely well to close the gap, and indeed Jarno Opmeer has made the most of the DRS on the lap car, and you can still see that the Flying Finn seems to have the straight line speed. He goes for that move down the inside, and I think he might have got him here as they make their way on the straight. They're going too wide as they make their way towards the last left-hand bend leading towards the home straight. The Silver Arrows and the Toro Rosso going toe-to-toe, and this time it will be the Toro Rosso with the DRS going down the straight, and you can see them doing battle here. Will the Flying Finn take P2? He does. Jarno Opmeer dives down the outside to try and reclaim the position, but he can't do it. But he's still right and close to the back end of that Raging Bull as they make their way towards the next left-hander. The Flying Finn defending for all he's worth as Jarno tries to bring out the best of himself to try and overtake the Flying Finn, but it can't be done for now. But he will get his chance going onto the straight, Maku.
Yeah, last lap overtake would be, of course, I mean, that was already actually a last lap overtake, but you know, on the last straight, that will be a really heated thing, and their fight for everything on this last corner, on these last few corners, especially on the hairpin. And maybe we'll even see a photo finish with both of them finishing next to each other, with just inches, one is inches ahead of the other.
Well, Jarno Opmeer has only got one thing on his mind right now, and that's P2, and he's trying to close on the Flying Finn to make that happen, and certainly he's trying to bleed every ounce of ability out of that Mercedes as they make their way out of the outset of that corner now, leading towards the straight. This is when it'll happen. The Flying Finn knows it as well as he makes his way down the straight. You can see the Mercedes in close proximity trying to close the gap as they make their way down. He knows he's got to do it now if he's got a chance. You can see there the Toro Rosso immediately defending. It's almost like Lewis Hamilton and Pierre Gasly at Brazil all over again. Can the Toro Rosso hold its own here and try and fight back the advances of the Mercedes as they come around the final bend? And Alvaro Carreton has won the Chinese Grand Prix, and in close proximity the Flying Finn takes the win on penalties. The Flying Finn for the Toro Rosso team takes P1. Alvaro Carreton relegated to P2, but don't take anything away from his performance. Jarno Opmeer comes home in P3. James Baldwin P4. Great performance there from the McLaren driver. Once again a solid performance from him. Fabrizio Donoso coming home in P4. Good points today for Mercedes, and Simon Viegang capping another good series of points for McLaren as well. Jan Fieler coming home in P7. He raced extremely well today. Infamous came home in P8, but what a race, Maku. Absolutely phenomenal.
What a crazy race, especially with he finished. He had nearly pulled out these 5 seconds of worth of time penalty he got. He was just he missed out by like one tenth of a second.
Certainly did, and they take the top step now. You can see that a Flying Finn taking P1, but what a phenomenal race, and I gotta say, I cannot believe my goggling bins right now. My eyes do deceive me. It has been nothing short of absolutely phenomenal. What an absolute storm of a race, probably race of the season so far without question, and these guys have put on a show like no other, and they should be extremely proud of themselves, each and every one of them. I can't wait to get this interview in motion as we now see the final classifications. The Flying Finn taking P1, Alvaro Caraton taking P2, what a drive from him. Jano Otmir P3, James Baldwin P4, Fabrizio Donoso Delgado P5, Simon Vigang P6, Jan Fieler comes home in P7, Infamous in P8, Photon P9, Bernardo Perez P10, Williams in the points for both cars today. Triton Matthias P11, Hayes in P12, Brownie P13, Leonard P14, Calcifer P15, Kruzic P16, and we lost, unfortunately, Jake W, Steve, and Zones. But Maku, who was your driver of the day?
What a race.
Who was your driver of the day, mate?
What? The driver of the day? You know, with this last lap thing, it was really, before I was really sure about Alvaro Caraton, but now I'm really struggling between Alvaro Caraton and Flying Finn. But I think I'll still give it to Alvaro because he was nearly out of that 5-second penalty window. And yeah, even though Flying Finn did also a very great job.
He certainly did, and he takes a brilliant and outrageous, I got to say, P1 finish. What a race that was indeed. The absolute audacity of some of the moves that were made. I mean, something you'd rarely see in league racing or racing in general. And these guys really stepped up and put their shoulders to the wheel, certainly in this race. And it gave us such a spectacular watch. And I got to say, I am not disappointed by any means after seeing a performance like that. We were treated to excellence, everybody. And I hope you all enjoyed that at home as well, because I certainly did. I know Maku did as well. I got to say, I'm actually sweating, Maku. I'm actually sweating.
You're actually sweating? Oh my gosh. You know,
I'm not even driving.
Yeah, maybe you were.
maybe.
In your mind.
In my mind, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, Discord sometimes protected my ears from you screaming because it then just cut off.
I'm really sorry. One day I'll buy you a hearing aid, I promise.
Yeah. Then I'll send you my bill.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed that as well. We're very shortly going to have the drivers coming in to have interviews with us here in the comms box. I got to say, it looked like from the chat that everyone enjoyed that. And it certainly definitely showed there what a race and fire from everybody there. Napadovsky and Kardanov, they were all asking where they were as well. They were certainly in the heat of battle, no doubt. But what a phenomenal display from these guys, certainly showing the true talent in this league. And they threw caution to the wind. And please don't forget to vote for your driver of the day, folks, as well. It's very important that you do that. But yes, Alvaro Caraton, I've just seen a comment from him. He said it would have been epic if I won that. I got to say, that was epic nonetheless. It was a phenomenal race. So every single driver can be absolutely proud of what they did out there tonight. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as well, because we certainly enjoyed commentating on it. So we're just literally going to wait now for the drivers to come into the caster booth, and we'll get these interviews underway. But that was... You know, usually I run out of superlatives usually a lot of the time, but no, I've just realised I don't.
Yeah, because there's so much action and you always have something to talk about. It's never like boring.
Well, I just like to scream. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just great fun. Warms up the voice box. Yeah, but there we are. I think the poor country of Wales are going to be all deaf by the end of this evening. But we're just going to wait for the guys to come into the caster booth now. Hopefully very shortly they will be joining us. But what a showing from all these guys. Now seeing Fabrizio join us in the comms box. Fabrizio, hello, how are you?
Hello, good evening everyone. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
No problem. What a race that was. I'm actually sweating, Fabs. I'm actually sweating. That was unbelievable. I said to Maku, I said I'm not even driving, but that was absolutely unbelievable. Honest to God. Now being joined by several others. I've just seen Alvaro Caraton make a brief visit and disappear then. Jan Feel is here. Jan, how you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Look, Alvaro, how are you, mate?
Hello, nice.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Just about.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Hey, great performance. I'm not going to say anything because it might I might run out of material otherwise for the actual interview process. But James Baldwin's here as well. James, how you doing?
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Sweating bucket loads, mate. To be honest, after that display, don't think my voice has ever taken such a hammering. But no, it's great. It was phenomenal watch. And yeah, I got to say, I think is that everyone here, Maku? I think we're still waiting on Yano, aren't we?
Yeah, and Flying Finn, our race winner.
And our race winner, yes, of course. Sorry, I'm going to have to apologise to him now. That was harsh.
Yeah. Let's give them a second. I think they'll show up shortly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to smash the water after this.
Oh, Flying Finn is not joining us, unfortunately.
He can't join us, can he?
Yeah, R7 just messaged me, so yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. What about Yano? Is he coming as well?
I don't know. Actually, I think John should join us sometimes if he wants to.
He does what he wants. You saying he does what he wants? Okay. Okay. Let me just drop a message over a sec. Won't be a mo. I'll leave you to entertain for a sec, Maku. Won't be a mo.
Yeah, I should just sing a song or something.
Yeah, tell a few jokes. Yeah, a bit of Maku stand up.
Oh, English puns. Yeah. Well, yes, I'm very good at it. No, the only thing is like why? Ah, no, what was it? You can't run because it's past tense. Yeah. That's like the best one I got.
I don't get it.
You know, actually, normally there's a picture of someone running past tense, and you can't run because it's the past tense. You know, where I'm getting to, you ran. Well, yeah, explaining the puns is like.
Oh dear. Right, let me just drop a message. It won't be a sec. It might be the case that we.
Yeah, I think John isn't joining either.
Alvaro, where'd you get your penalty, man? Last corner?
No, I stayed in the pit lane.
Oh.
I was so lucky. I crossed it at 79.
Yeah, I
Oh,
crossed
shit.
at 82. Have to play a bit more. Almost won that, to be honest.
Fab. If we had an engineer like in esports, that'd have been perfect because I definitely wouldn't have boxed with that traffic.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, was that what held you up so much?
I think I got held like maybe a second, but Simon got even worse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because you three were running away at the start, and then all of a sudden you were there for the pit stops right in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a mess.
Right, I don't think we're going to be seeing the other two in here. I think Flying Finn has given his apologies. I don't think we can get a hold of Yano. He might join us later on, so we'll power on anyway. We'll start off, I think. Let's start with Jan Feeler. Yeah, Jan, are you there?
I'm here, hello.
Jan, what a race from yourself. I've got to say, a performance probably the best performance this season, would you say, in comparison to since the start of the season? I mean, you were there, you were tussling with everybody. It looked like it was a good show.
Yeah, it was better than USA, definitely.
Yes.
But I think Italy was a bit on top of this. That was a bit better, more fun. But yeah, was still fun today.
Yeah. You had some very close battles with Jarno Otmir and many other guys certainly on track. Did strategy go out as planned? Obviously, we didn't have a safety car this week, which made a big difference, and everyone was able to go out with the strategies they started with. Did you have a clear plan going into the start of the race, and did you execute it to what you thought was your full potential?
Honestly, I didn't because we had Jarno and Alvaro in front of me on hards, and then I thought, okay, I'll just do whatever the race evolves like, and then make my strategy on the fly. And then when the first guys pitted in front of me, I thought about going a bit longer to have fresher hard tires, and then thought it's just not worth it, and I just want to stick with them, and just in case I got undercut, so I pitted, and then yeah, as I just got told by Fab and James, they were held up in the traffic after the pit stop, so that made me catch up to them again after the first stint. They ran away, and then I got a bit stuck behind Simon and had a nice battle with him. And yeah, it's not easy to overtake in China, ironically, with that long straight, but still.
No, it was
And
as
yeah,
we were watching that. You were very very close to Simon there. Nearly made the move in on the inside as Yano does join us after. Hello Yano. You did make the move there on. Well, you did try and make the move on Simon. Unfortunately, weren't able to find the stream going in. He did in fact I think shut the door, didn't he, and try and stop you from making that move. Obviously, it was a good bit of defending as well. Admirable driving from both of you, to be fair. How were you feeling towards the course of the race? Was there any sort of grip of nerves going on, or did you feel 100% comfortable as you were going around?
I felt quite comfortable. I like China as a track. I've always been quite decent there compared to other tracks, so I was pretty chilled.
Yeah, well, congratulations on a great performance. Like I said, I think, would you say it's your best this season, or
Italy was better, I think.
Italy was
But
better?
apart from that, yeah. I mean, I've been here for like 3 races, so
Well, yeah,
not much to
out of
tell
the
you.
3. Yeah, no. But no, to be fair, good race nonetheless. So many congratulations to you.
Yeah, still some room for improvement, so
Well, yeah, you can only do that by racing, can't you? So there you go. So,
yeah, 100%.
yeah, well done. Let's move on to James Baldwin. James,
Yo,
how's it going, sir?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty happy with that. Yeah, just got held up by the traffic too much. Basically, it's cost us the race. Me, Fab, and Simon. So yeah, I think Yano, did you break your front wing? Is Yano there?
He is here. Yeah. He's here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I didn't break my front. When
Oh, okay.
the
I
hairpin.
thought, yeah, I thought maybe he broke it there, but obviously not. But
stopped
yeah, I
it.
think the gap was only like 2.5 seconds in the end to or maybe slightly more to Alvaro. So I think if we didn't get held up, the win was on. But yeah, such is racing.
Did you have any thoughts of winning when you took P1 going down the straight? I thought, James might have a win on the cards here. You never know. I was
What,
thinking,
in the second stint?
yeah. It looked.
Nah,
it
'cause
looked
I knew
plausible.
Alvaro and Yano were like, or Flying Finn as well. They were right behind us. So I mean, they were always going to get us. But yeah.
And plan executed. You would say, or would you have opted for something different in hindsight, or?
Nah, I would have stick with the same thing. It's just, yeah, I was saying if we had an engineer, like you do your F1 esports, then they could have told you not to box because of the traffic. So it was just the traffic that cost us the race, really. That was it.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, credit to yourself. I mean, obviously, great to bounce back after what happened in the United States. It was a puncture, wasn't it, going into the final lap blast?
Oh, it was an absolute catastrophe, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gutted for you, mate. To be honest,
Tire blew out on the last lap.
it looked like you were in good stead to finish well and strong, and all of a sudden that happens to you. But good to see you come back fighting this week as well. Great to see.
Cheers.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah, certainly will. No doubt. Congratulations to you. We'll move on to. Let's go to Yano next.
Yes.
Yano, how are you?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it all go okay? How did you feel the race went? Was it positive, do you think, or?
Yeah, I went for a last minute setup change, which didn't really work out. But anyway, decent race, I would say, despite it. I didn't know Alvaro had a 5-second penalty because I asked a few times to the engineer, but nothing about a penalty, so that was a shame.
Jeff taking a break, was he, or something? Was he?
Yeah, I think so. He was going for a coffee. I think so. But yeah, I think I pitted maybe also 1 lap too early. So some small mistakes, but in the end, P3. So.
Yeah. No, it's a good result on the outset. Obviously, the championship very much in your hands at this stage. Obviously, 100 points separating yourself and what is currently P3. Naturally, I suppose it's just a case of keeping the car on the track and making sure that no mistakes are being made and clinching the title.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just going for a race win every race because I don't think anyone can really catch up anymore. So, yeah, I'm not really focusing on the championship since I think I pretty much got it. I mean, theoretically, it's still possible for Simon to win, but no, I think he will say as well that he's not gonna really catch up anymore.
No, I think it's just a case. I mean, obviously, if you can nip it in the bud by winning, I suppose, the next few races, I'm sure that's on your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I go for a win every race.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations, though, on a very good performance. I mean, certainly great to claw back from where you were. A lot of traffic out there as well, as James said. So yeah, no surprises certainly. That I mean, we were met with a very very fast grid today and a very fast finish as well, which was superb. But congratulations on your P3 as well, Jarno. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll move on now to Fabrizio Donoso. Fabs,
Hello.
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you, man.
Yeah, good man, good man. Good to see you back up in the top reaches of the game as well. Look very very much like you were going to take the P1 spot at the start of the race, because you very very quickly snatched the advantage at the start after going toe to toe with Simon Vigang. Did you fancy yourself for a win after that, going into that first pit stop, or do you think you might have done better with a different strategy?
Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be close with the hard runners because they were starting like P6 and 7, I think.
Mm.
So I knew it was going to be close at the end. I thought still going to the medium was the right call, but at the end it wasn't. The first stint, I was just following Simon, saving my tires, ERS. Then I went for the undercut, got held. So I thought I was going to be behind Simon, but I think he got held more than I was. Then after that was just managing the pace because James and Simon were behind me. So my strategy was to back them out to Jarno and Alvaro and Flying Finn, so they could overtake and battle behind. But that didn't work out at the end. Missing some race pace towards the end as well to defend from James. So yeah, congrats to him for the overtake. I think I misjudged the braking in, I don't remember which lap, but I almost destroyed James' car. Unfortunately, no damage. I don't know how, but yeah, that was a fun race, anyways.
It was
Hopefully...
very. The pace was very strong, wasn't it? Certainly a strong race pace. And
yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a strong grid pretty much for an esports level, to be honest. So yeah, the pace was really competitive from all of us, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I got to say it was a superb performance from yourself as well, and which was great to see. Going into the tail end of the season, what can we expect from Fabrizio Donoso? Are we going to be seeing some more fireworks from yourself?
I mean, I'm starting to get more time into the game. I want to catch up to the highest level. I think I'm not there yet. Some spikes of high performance, but not consistent enough to be up there. So yeah, I'll be working on that and hopefully get a few wins for the rest of the championship.
Do you feel in a better place now than where you were before? Because you're saying you're improving, and if you compare yourself to maybe, I don't know, 6 months to a year ago, would you say there's been some serious improvement?
Yeah, I think everyone does, to be honest. We are a point of the game where everyone is really quick now, so the margins are very very low. But yeah, at the end, it's up to me to make the most of it and to be ahead of everyone.
Yeah, well, I got to say you look strong today, and we look forward to seeing more of you through the rest of the season. So congratulations on a strong result, and we look forward to seeing you back up there once again.
Yeah, surely next week I'll be back. So thank you.
Nice one, no worries. We'll speak to you soon. We'll move on to Alvaro Caraton, our P2 sitter. Alvaro, welcome to the comms booth.
Thanks.
How you keeping?
Yeah, I'm fine. I had a good race.
Yeah, enjoy the race? Positive?
Yeah, a lot. I never thought I would finish even on the podium when I did the speed in the pit lane, but at a really good pace.
Were you aware of the gap that was between you and P2 going towards the end of that Grand Prix? Because it was pushing out to about 3 seconds. It was phenomenal pace you were showing towards the end.
Yeah, for sure. When I came out the pit, the podium for me was almost impossible. That's what I thought. but then I started to go so quickly and overtake everyone quickly. And then I found myself in P1 with 8 laps to go. So then I thought, okay, the podium is possible. I tried to go as fast as possible. And yeah, that's what I earned at the end of the race. It almost P1, only a 10th, for a shame, but yeah, I'm really happy with my pace.
Well, you should be. I mean, it was a phenomenal performance. I mean, some of those overtakes were absolutely phenomenal. Did you feel in confidence with the car? The setup looked right. Did you have any questions in your mind at all, or did you come what you came to do and smashed it out to what you expected?
I'm really confident with myself at the moment. I think I found I'm really good at the moment. The setup was really good as well. I really like the track, one of my favorites. So yeah, everything went right. It's just a shame that only by 2 km per hour I lost the pit entry. But yeah, I'm really happy and really confident for the future.
Yeah, well, it definitely shows positive things for the future, and no doubt we will see you at the P1 spot, I'd imagine, going forward. Is this going to be a regular occurrence now? Is Alvaro Carreton going to be making regular Friday visits to league racing in ORL?
Yeah, I think so. I have time. I have time to practice, so yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to that, and certainly more battles to come in the future. So, but many congratulations from myself and Maku, obviously, and from our viewers as well on a great performance. And very unlucky not to get the P1, but a great P2 nonetheless.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Maku. What were your thoughts on
Yeah.
that? Phenomenal.
Yeah, great performance from all of the drivers, of course. A lot from disconnected already. So yeah, just congrats for me too. Really phenomenal drive. So we had a lot of really fair battles, and I think we didn't even have real damage. We did have no safety car. So yeah, just a little thing to add maybe. So currently, drive of the day vote looks like Alvaro Carreton is going to take driver of the day. With 3 votes ahead of Flying Finn, 2 votes. Like I said, it's a close battle between those two because both had a really good drive. And also there were some new names up on the top today. Never their first race and both in the podium spots, both in the first 2 places. So yeah, it was a really exciting race.
Yeah, it certainly gives us a lot to be encouraged about going forward in the ORL Racing League. I've got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure for me and Maku to bring this phenomenal action to you. Please don't forget to leave a reward by subscribing and liking the video as well, and be sure to be with us next week for yet more racing action here at the ORL Racing League. It's going to be a corker, folks. Today, it looked like Carreton had it, but Flying Finn came through and took the win. But from us here at ORL, me, George Morgan, and Maku, it's been a pleasure. Goodbye.
Goodbye.